Hello, children. How are you today? It's with Erin, and I've got with another exciting Bible story for you. Today, we're talking about a man in the Bible, of course. He wasn't a disciple of Jesus, but he was an important part of writing the Bible, part of the Bible, not everything, but he wrote, part of the Bible, and he did a great job. And because of that job, good job that he did, we're going to call him Leonard Luke. He was a doctor. So being Leonard is, someone who is educated. So he's educated and he did a great job. He's a doctor and he wrote so his letters, his writings in the Bible was he was writing to a man called Theophilus. But his accounts of what Jesus when Jesus was around, how Jesus did, what all the things that he did, and some things that led to being Jesus being born, he wrote a lot. His accounts was so full, so if you read the book of Luke in the Bible, in the New Testament, that was him who wrote it. So it was named after him. He also wrote the book of Acts. Now, the Acts is the Act of the Apostles. So that act, the book of Acts, followed things that Apostle Paul, passionate Paul, and Apostle Peter and Apostle John, all the apostles, not Apostle John, Peter, Paul, and Barnabas, a lot of other people, what they did during during after Jesus had died, after Jesus had gone to heaven, had ascended. So all the things that they did with the power, but by the power of the Holy Spirit. So he recorded everything in the Bible, in the book of Acts. So he did write it, he did a good job. It was, for instance, in the book of Luke that we knew about how John the Baptist was born. He wrote about how John the Baptist was born, about his mom, Elizabeth, and Zachariah. And he also told us about how the Holy Spirit came to Mary. And then, Jesus was conceived in Mary. And then Mary gave birth to Jesus. So he really wrote a lot. He was in depth. He did a lot of research. He sat down with Jesus's mom. He sat down with everybody. He sat down with Apostle John. He wrote about the miracles of Jesus, about how Jesus, interacted with people, and people who were like people that some people had maybe forgotten to write about. He wrote about them. So you see, it's very important to be very thorough, to take your work seriously. I'm going to call him apostle because, well, he wasn't an apostle, but he never even addressed himself as an apostle. And what he called him, he was Dr. Luke, and everybody knew him as a doctor. But he followed Apostle Paul everywhere, most places where Apostle Paul went. And he was always helping Apostle Paul write his letters when he was in prison. When maybe Apostle Paul couldn't write a letter, he would help him, or he would help. Apostle Paul would dictate to him, would tell him what to write, and he would write it. So he was very good like that. And he followed him to all the places that they were planting churches, all the places outside of Israel and everywhere, even in Israel. So he followed him everywhere. So Apostle Dr. Luke, he did a great job. So we call him Leonard Luke because he did a good job. So this is a lesson for us all, because his writings are very helpful for us. The book of Luke and the book of Acts. Those were the chapters he wrote in the New Testament. So if you read some of those, you see that he's done a good job. So whatever you do, whatever you find yourself to do it very well because it will be helpful for people. The book that he wrote is helpful for us today because we can learn about all the things that the apostles did with the Holy Spirit. And we also know that, oh, if the apostles can do this by the power of the Holy Spirit, we also can do that and much more. So, and if Dr. Luke didn't write some of these accounts, we probably will not know, but he's written it. So, whatever it is that the Holy Spirit has put in your heart to do, whether it's to sing, whether it's to write, whether it's to be, to start, caring for people in a special way, maybe for adults, for children, do it very well because those children will remember and they will know that you cared for them. And whatever you write, for instance, it will be useful for people in the future. And don't worry about, oh, people will forget. There are lots of books. Don't worry. Just do what God tells you to do. And I promise you, it's going to be very, very impactful. Just do it well. Because whatever is worth doing is worth doing very well. And anything God tells you to do, believe me, it's worth doing very well. Okay? So until next time, when I bring you another exciting story, remember to read the book, the important book, the most important book in the world. So, but because we're talking about past Dr. Luke, you can also read the book of Luke and the book of the Acts. That's what Dr. Luke wrote. So Leonard Luke wrote the book of Luke and Acts. Until next time, I bring another exciting story your way. Stay beautiful, loved, and I love you. Bye.